we are getting even closer.
Right.
And the joint cooperation between the Greek community and the Jewish community is so very important, especially what's going on in the Middle East today. We both need allies and we both need friends. And the Greeks will always be there for you, and I'm sure vice versa. And I would like to call upon Howard Tish, and Rabbi, where are you? Rabbi, is he here?
I'm here, I'm here.
Come on up.
Come
Give us
forward, please.
who helped put this event together. Rabbi Fantastic. And Howard Tish. Would you like to say a few words before we proceed?
Howard's older first.
He's got more right here, you're right.
I just wanted to say, it was a few months ago, we first talked about this. It was July 4th, 2011, a day that's important to us in terms of independence, a day in terms of the flotilla coming in Greece, that we noticed how Greece did something that our founders did many years ago, was stand up for what was right. And we noticed that it was important to us, it was important to Israel, and for that, we do the following. When I was a young kid, I was in Greece. I was 16. I didn't speak Greek at all, but there was a newsstand fellow. And I went out every day and he taught me one word, and that was called Efcharisto. And that's what I say today, Efcharisto, to the Greek community. Thank you for what you did. It was very important to us, noticed by the Jewish community of New York. We're represented here with the Jewish Community Relations Council, the Conference of Presidents, of major Jewish organizations. And I introduce Rabbi Joseph Potasnik, who's head of the New York Board of Rabbis.
Thank you, Howard, and thank you for being so instrumental in bringing us all together. His Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first I want you to know, John, that a directive went out from the New York Board of Rabbis to all of our members, rabbis of all different denominations, telling them in no uncertain terms that when we shop for the holidays, we only can shop at Gristides. That's the first way we say thank you to you. And secondly, I wasn't in Greece, Howard, but I practiced all night. Escharisto Yati Filiasu, which means thank you for your friendship. And when I was young, my mother taught me, as I'm sure your parents taught you, that thank you are the two most important words in our vocabulary. So it's important that we come here today and say thank you publicly for your support, for your friendship. Someone said years ago that a friend is the one who walks in when others walk out. Well, you walked in, and sometimes we've seen others who walked out, but you're there for us, and that deserves our recognition. Someone asked me the other day, don't you feel sometimes you're in a minority? And I said, yes. But I'd rather be in a moral minority than an immoral majority. So to stand with one another, who stand for the right thing, who stand for decency against indecency, that to me is a great privilege. So once again, we say thank you. And you know, the word for friend in Hebrew is yedid. And how do you write it? The word hand, reaching out to hand. The word yad means hand. Another yad, hand, hand to hand, you spell friend. Well, today I think we see the real meaning of Yedid. Hand of the Jewish people is extended to members of the Greek community. Once again, thank you so much, and let's continue to stand together as one.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Consul General Angie Balta and Consul General, where are you? Ido.
He's the tallest Jew here.
For helping put this together. And we also have our Deputy Foreign Ministers with us, Dimitri Dolis. Dimitri?
That's all right.
And the Israel Deputy Foreign Minister, Danny Ayala. And I'd like to say a few words.
Please.
Well, it's so good to speak after the Rabbi because he puts things into perspective from the moral point of view, which is the eternal point of view. And I do believe we are eternal friends. And if we look back, if we look at what society, what Western civilization is today, there are two foundations for Western civilization. One is the Greek, Hellenic, who gave the world science, who gave the world philosophy. there is the other foundation of the Jewish prophets who gave the world the Bible and morality. And together we are invincible. Maybe because what we represent is what makes others not like us for some reason. But we hold, I think, the candle for democracy, for truth, for justice, for rule of law. And when we talk about rule of law, it doesn't only go inside the border, but also outside. It should be international. And together, Greece and Israel, and we have many allies, the European Union, and all Western civilization, I believe, is backing us for what we stand for. And this is why I believe the future holds great promises for us. We are not seeking any argumentative positions. We are not seeking any conflicts or frictions. But at the same time, you know, if we have to defend our interests and values, we will have to do it. But I believe that with a resolute position now, we may not have to come to some deliberations or to some challenges that may be posed later on if we do not stand our ground politically now. So we are now, and I think the message that we have is clear to everyone. And I do believe that all the neighborhoods of the Mediterranean, especially the eastern basin of the Mediterranean, have all interest in prosperity, in continued with this exploration of natural resources over there. And I can tell you that we have a government-to-government relations with Greece to work on many, many areas of energy cooperation and science cooperation, agriculture and political and economic and of course cultural, which all of us have such a rich cultures for so many years. Lastly, I want to really thank my very good friend Dimitri, the Deputy Foreign Minister. Mr. Minister, it's always a pleasure and an honor to be here with you. I want to thank John. I want to thank everybody who, Mr. Taish and the Consul General and Consul General Ido Aroni. So we are now just before the Jewish New Year. So I want to wish you all a happy New Year, a good year for Israeli and Greek relations, for the people of Israel, for the people of Greece, and I know that we will continue to cooperate and go from strength to strength. Thank you very much.
John Katzimatidis, Mr. Taj, to both of you, a lot of thanks. To my very good friend and colleague, Danny Aguilon, we've got a lot of rivers to cross still, but we will do so. When I was growing up in Melbourne, Australia, there were two minorities that went together. The Greeks and the Jews and the Greeks. There was only one problem. Every time I dated a Jewish girl, Mama said, lovely boy, but he's not Jewish. Not Jewish one, not Jewish twice. I found a Greek girl. We settled the argument. Let me say that both in terms of experiences, common history, and common paths, we are two peoples that survived. We're two peoples that survived a lot of hardships. Greek Jews per population were the largest group of people to be murdered, to be executed in the concentration camps. And this year, at least, we will be able to establish the first memorial inside Auschwitz in order to honor those people. And at the same time, Thessaloniki is known as the second Jerusalem for all those that have known the path of the Sephardic Jews as they came out of Spain into Greece. And as for us, as I keep saying, Jewish people who lived in Greece are Greek people, got a common path, a common history, a common culture. And what we do we do it for ourselves. If we defend any acts of vandalism, if we fight any acts of vandalism, if we defend any attacks on the small but very important Jewish community, it's because it is our community. And now we've got an opportunity that our two countries, after two historic visits, the first visit by Greek Prime Minister, official visit to Israel, and the first official visit by the Israeli Prime Minister to Greece. And what have we seen in the last year and a half? A flurry of ministerial visits, culminating with the Greek Minister for Defense, who just left Israel 2 weeks ago. So not only we have the people-to-people, economic, cultural, other issues, but we have an incredible cooperation on the defense and security side. And don't forget that it is our neighborhood that we are protecting. It is our neighborhood that we're looking after. They're two countries, two democracies with the oldest histories in the neighborhood. And whatever misunderstandings may have existed until now, there are misunderstandings that existed because we didn't try a common approach. Our path is a common path. We are friends because we believe in a friendship between Greece and Israel. We are friends because we have communities, two diasporas, that have common histories to tell, common stories to tell, common paths in many countries, be it Australia, the United States, Canada, Europe. After all, when we inaugurated the Holocaust Memorial in Thessaloniki, we had possibly the biggest concentration of international jury representatives coming to the second Jerusalem ever. And we hope next year, because Danny and I are the two people that have been entrusted with the government-to-government meeting, we will have a historic joint cabinet meeting between the Israeli cabinet and the Greek cabinet sometime before the end of the year. And sometime next year, we do hope to be able to host in Thessaloniki the first conference on the two diasporas. I will be getting in touch with John and your community and yourselves, and we hope to be able to have a historic get-together. There is a story that needs to be told. There is a story that the world must know, because the path of Greeks and the path of Jews is very common. And as for our friendship and this new, so-called newfound relationship, let me tell you in closing these remarks, it has very little to do with any other issues or any other problems that may exist in the neighborhood. Israel, for us, is a natural ally, and we believe that we are a natural ally for Israel. In that regard, we're building a common path. In that regard, we hope to stand for stability. In that regard, we hope to stand for freedom. And in that regard, both our countries hope to stand for democracy that our neighborhood very much needs. So thank you for taking this opportunity. And Danny, thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
And without more to do, back to you, John.
I'd like to call it on Consul General Angivata.
On behalf of the Consul General of Israel and myself, I would like to thank the two ministers for taking time out of their very busy schedule to come here today to celebrate this event, a joint event of the Greek American and the Jew community here in New York. I would like to, I see here the former president of AHEPA. I see many friends from the Greek American community. You know, a year ago, it was decided in Washington that we will start having joint meetings between the two communities. What a better occasion, other than this one here today, having the two ministers and sealing this cooperation between the two communities. Thank you.
And closing remarks from Rabbi Joseph Potasnik.
All right, thank you. By the way, I heard you were somewhat disappointed that you weren't Jewish, so you'll see me after the meeting today. I want to talk to you about that. I see Rabbi Michael Miller from the JCRC. Michael, why don't you come forward also? Councilman Michael Nelson.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit so we can all have the picture. Here we go.
We want to make a presentation. As you know, we're approaching Rosh Hashanah, the new year, and there is a beautiful tradition of sounding the shofar. So we thought it would be most appropriate to present two shofarot, one for the Deputy Foreign Minister, one for the Consul General of Greece. When you sound them, obviously, they make a noise, and I would ask you to be very careful when you make the noise, because you have a neighbor across the street, Michael Bloomberg, who doesn't like a lot of noise. So sound it, in a somewhat of a subdued fashion. But why do we sound the shofar? We sound the shofar because it's a clarion call. It's a moral voice. And I think all of us have to be the shofarot. We have to become the shofars, continue to speak out, not to remain in the background. My father used to say in Yiddish, Hob Moira from Gott, nicht from Menschen. Fear God, not people. If you stand for the right thing, you don't have to be afraid of people. So we give you this. And the word shofar also means to increase. And as you said, let's increase our relationship. And let's find a widened path so we can walk together continually. All right? Shana Tova.
And let me take this opportunity to the two communities that brought us together. John, a big thank you. And Rabbi, let me tell you, I've been married to the same woman for 29 years. I don't think she would like it. So thank you, but not thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Secretary, it is a pleasure to see everybody here on behalf of the Hellenic National Council, and I tell you that the Greek ship owners is the guys to move the refugees to stabilize the Israel during the time nobody except the Jewish to return home. And in addition to that, it is a dream from the Greeks to see the Temple of Solomon to raise up and to see the Cohen and the Levy to become priests. Thank you.
Yes.
Consul General Aroni?
Yeah, we just want to get this over.